Hello everyone, um, Jose Ortega here with another technical video on computer networks. The topic that we are going to discuss today is going to be all about VLANs, the creation of VLANs, the technology, what are they used for, and the benefits that they provide to network engineers when they are implemented and maintained properly. Okay? So let's talk about the benefits of the VLAN creation. Um, First of all, we have network management. Okay, when you create VLANs, you are able to manage the network in a more efficient way. Why? Well, because let's say, for example, we don't have any VLANs, correct? And we have many users, many users on different switches. So here's another switch, and we have users and users and users and users. So all of this is just a broadcast domain. It's a huge broadcast domain. So it becomes a nightmare for the network engineer or network administrator to manage the network. So the creation of VLANs, what it does network segmentation, meaning that every VLAN is a unique broadcast domain. So the broadcast domain decreases even though we have more broadcast domains, but as a whole, it decreases the size of the broadcast domains. So the network management becomes a lot easier for network administrators. Okay, so that's one of the benefits. Another benefit is security. That's another benefit that is very important in today's networks because let's say you have different departments, right? You have a department here that belongs to, let's say, the HR department, and you have a department here, another department which is the accounting department, and they are in charge of payroll and all different stuff that has nothing to do with HR or with another department like for example the developer team or you get the idea. So so these departments right here, they're not going to have connectivity to each other or communication to each other because of the creation of VLANs. Okay, so that's what VLANs does. They add security to the network and segmentation. Okay, so another benefit that you can you can find when creating VLANs, for example, is the congestion. Okay, when I say congestion, it prevents congestion in the network. Why? Because um, let's go back to the example of not having any VLANs, right? And you have many different users on this single switch. On this single switch. So as of right now, the MAC address of the switch, is empty. Okay, there's nothing in the MAC address, and let's say host A or user A tries to communicate with user C, right? So what's going to happen is user A is going to send a broadcast traffic, and the CPU, the switch, will have to process the broadcast packet. We have to go to every device, every device, every device, every device, every device. Of course, This device is going to drop it because it's not meant for them. It's going to drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it. And finally, when it gets to user C is going to process the packet and it's going to reply back to user A. And then the MAC address is going to start to be populated, okay? But as you can see in this example right here, the CPU of the switch is working very hard, okay? So we want to avoid that. So that's why the creation of VLANs is very important to save CPU resources and to help the network to avoid congestion. Another important feature and benefit is, for example, team collaboration. Okay, let's say in an enterprise you have, like I said, many different teams or departments, right? And for some reason, let's say the developers team, they're on different buildings. For example, on building B, you have some developers, and then on different C, you have other developers, and they uh, they want to communicate with each other because they are working on the same project. So that means they don't, with the creation of VLANs, they don't have to be physically in the same building. They can be in different buildings and being able to collaborate and talk to each other by the creation of VLANs and by assigning the VLANs to their respectively workstation. Okay, so that's one of the four benefits that I can come up with right now for the VLAN creation. Of course, there's a lot more, but this is just a high level overview. And with that being said, we're going to configure VLANs in Packet Tracer. Um, we're going to have two VLANs, VLAN 100 and VLAN 200, and we are going to assign some users to VLAN 200 and some other users to VLAN 100, and we're going to test the connectivity between the devices on the same VLAN. Okay, devices on different VLANs, they're not going to be able to communicate because we are not going to be doing inter-VLAN routing, which is another technology that we can implement when you want different VLANs to communicate with other VLANs. Okay, so with that being said, let's go to Packet Tracer, which I already have the diagram that we're going to use. So we're going to create some VLANs on the switch first and assign the ports to the correct PCs. As you can see, we have two VLANs here, VLAN 100 with an IP address 192.168.1.0/24, and VLAN 200 with the IP address 10.1.1.0/24. First thing we gotta do, we gotta log into the switch. We gotta log into the switch. Go to the CLA. Go to the privilege or the user mode. Let's issue the command show IP interface brief just to see that we have 4 fast Ethernet interfaces in the app state right now. Okay, and we have fast Ethernet links. Okay, so let's do the command show VLAN just to see that we have, oh, okay, so we have two VLANs that I created from my previous exercise. So we're going to do this a little different. We're going to change this to VLAN 400, and we're going to change this one to VLAN 300. Okay, that will be the VLANs that we're going to use. So let's go back again, and let's create the VLANs that we're going to use. Config team VLAN 300. We're gonna name it, let's say the HR department. Okay, so we already have, oh yeah, we have that name in the previous exercise, so we're gonna change the name. Let's say engineering, then exit, create the other VLAN, VLAN 400, VLAN 400, name developers, and just show VLAN brief again, and there we have VLAN 300 and VLAN 400 for developers team and the engineering team. Right now we don't have any ports assigned to the VLANs, and that's what we are going to do next. Okay, so let's go to switch again. Let's configure, let's go to the configuration, to the config team. Let's go to the interface fast Ethernet /2 switch port mode access VLAN 300. Okay, something did not like it. Let's try to do it again. Let me issue the command show VLAN brief again. Exit show VLAN brief. Okay, config T interface /02 switch port mode access switch port access VLAN 300. There you go. Then we go to the exit interface /1 fast Ethernet 0/1 switch port mode access switch port access VLAN 300. So that's that. Now we're going to configure the other PCs, PC3 and PC4. Interface fast Ethernet 0/4 switch port mode access switch port access VLAN 400. We exit out of there. Let's go to the interface fast Ethernet 0/3 switch port mode access switch port access VLAN 400, and that's it. We have configured two VLANs and assigned the ports to the correct PCs. Let's verify this. Show VLAN brief. Okay, and here we have the two VLANs with the correct ports assigned to the respective VLANs. Now we're going to assign an IP address on PC2. Okay, so we have let's assign let's say 10. Okay, on PC2 /24 subnet mask. Let's go to PC2 and do 192.168.1.20/24. Let's see, we have connectivity. Let's test connectivity on it. So ping 192.168.1.20. We have connectivity between PC2 and PC1. Now let's go to PC3 and configure an IP address on the 10.1.1.0/24 range. We're gonna use the 10 on this case, and on PC4 we assign an IP address of 20, and I believe that's pretty much what we have to do. Now we're going to check connectivity between these two PCs on VLAN 400. So we're gonna ping 10.1.10, and we have IP reachability to PC3. So let's ping PC1 on VLAN 300 and see what's gonna happen. 192.168.1.10. Okay, so we're trying to see if we have a connection between PC4 and PC1. Nope, we don't have a connection on that. Okay, so okay. So now let's go to PC2, pardon me, PC2, and try to ping PC3. Okay, 10.1.10. What do you think, guys, is going to happen? Well, it's going to be the same result. We don't have reachability right here. Why? Well, the reason being that we don't have connectivity between these two these devices here is because they are on different VLAN. Okay, this is VLAN 300 and this is VLAN 400. Okay, they're on different broadcast domain, so that's the reason we don't have connectivity right now between the different VLANs. Now we can have connectivity if we want to by implementing inter-VLAN routing, but in order to implement inter-VLAN routing, we have to, for example, add another switch. But in this case, it will have to be a layer 3 switch in the network, and then from there configure SBIs, or we can also add a router. Okay, and in the router we can configure sub interfaces and default gateways and things like that in order for PC4 to communicate to PC1. But that will be in another video. But I just want to let you guys know that in fact we can have communication between PCs that are located in different VLANs. Okay. So yeah, that's it, guys. That's it for today. That's an introduction to the technology of and creation of VLANs and implementation. It's just a high-level overview. Of course, there's a lot of more. It's a lot of more to it. There's a lot of more details and a lot of more commands that we can also implement to have different results when it comes to VLAN creation, inter-VLAN routing, private VLANs, and things like that. But this in general right here is just the main idea of creation of VLANs and the purpose of creating the VLANs. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the video. Is, like I said, it's very simple, very simple and high level view uh, of the technology. So if you have any questions, just send me a message, or don't hesitate to contact me, or post a comment in my YouTube channel. Okay, so that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one.